Physics, art, and math got us down this path. Historical tales come alive, where science and stories dive. Blended facts with heart, knowledge from the start. MedBricks blues we sing, to the future memory. Health and science in the mix, MedBricks got the fix. Complex subjects made
right
clear,
now
every episode
in ways that we actually acquire
leads the way,
and ways that make me more efficient.
in the world of digital streams, turning knowledge into dreams. Through the tales of old, new stories unfold.
Thank you so much for joining with me. It is a truly an honor and a privilege.
MedBricks Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges.
Hi, welcome to the MedBricks webcast. This is Ramana. I'm Raju, the host of the MedBricks. Thank you so much, Dr. Perro. You gave a great compliments for the podcast. You appeared last week, and you gave me excellent reviews and a review of my podcast. Thank you, sir. It is truly an honor coming from you. I'm still recovering from the flu, from the East Coast flu. A very bad flu. It's not fun. But I'm going to have a guest. She's a great friend of mine. She's going to come online in a few minutes. After that, I'm going to present a topic on very interesting modality that you never heard of. A lot of people, even I was in this area, but I never heard this one. Recently, I came to know about it. I was shocked, really. It was delightful to know about this modality. It's really interesting. It is a quantum physics, or that is a kind of outcome. That is. I'm going to present that one actually. But now let us talk about the guest that's coming on. Her name is Susan Davis. She's a doctor of nursing practice. She is a diva. She survived. I tell you why she is diva. She survived 3 hurricanes recently in the 2024. Debbie, Helene, and Milton, I think. And she lost her home. I mean, she gutted her at home. Lost means she is not habitable anymore. She has to moving around, I think, in mother's place everywhere. We will find out. It is not fun. I mean, sorry that I'm laughing because it's not to laugh, but it gives me it gives me the reason I'm laughing is that your resolution and then your resolute thing to survive this kind of things. And also same time she was a nurse, so she knows the emergency response, emergency protocols, all those things during this time. Is not only she's a victim of these emergencies, she provides emergency care. So that is really tough situation for her. And let me bring, after it's almost 2 months over, Helene is gone, and Milton over. Still she has no home. And let me bring here Susan Davis, the diva, great friend. Welcome.
Hi, Ramana, my favorite physicist and favorite reason to stay up until midnight. So happy to be here.
Thank you so much for that. Tell us a little bit about what happened to your personal story, a little bit about this disasters that hurricanes happened, that what you all you're near the Tampa area, you live in Fort Myers, Florida. Just give us a little bit background on that. What happened?
So of course I was hit. I'm in between Tampa and Fort Myers, a little area north of there, and I'm on the water. So 2 years ago, I was hit by Ian, and that was a lot of structural damage, a lot of outside damage, the roof and stuff like that gone, all replaceable. And they always threaten flood. They always threaten flood, and it always floods, but not like it did in Helene and then again in Milton. So it's actually been since September, where Helene came through and flash flooded my home. In a matter of 20 minutes, it went from not a problem to over the wheel wells in my car, over the light sockets in my home, and I had to get out. It was coming up so fast. So that was Helene, and it was truly one of those, what do you grab? Like, I watched the people in California and I was like, oh my God. I mean, I've just done this. So you're not even sure what to grab. So you grab your few things and out you go. Well, lo and behold, we had 2 weeks in between that and Milton where we got most of the walls cut out, and I threw out everything, from 3 feet down. And then that darn Milton decided to come in and do a number, which was worse than Helene. So it came in worse, it came in higher, and it came in with sludge. So it was a complete loss. The shell is there, but every single thing in your home from 4 feet down. So everything in any drawer, shoes, girls, all your shoes, your clothes, files, appliances, and it's salt water. So that every single appliance you can think of, hot water heater, pool pump, washer, dryer, dishwasher, stove, the entire bathroom, the walls, the electricity, I can go on. So lo and behold, I also lost my car. So, because it happened so fast, I parked it up by the front door, and we had to go. So it was gone. And then it was like a several mile evacuation where the only thing you could see is sheet water and a hurricane going, and just the tops of mailboxes was the only way to navigate out. So
outsiders, we don't understand it. But you said that just now a few minutes ago, that the water comes so fast in 20 minutes, you just fry it up. Tell us a little bit about that. That I cannot imagine, that even the fights, that's what they say. People from outsiders in general, they don't understand that quickness.
Well, and I will say it's not my first rodeo. I've been here in the state of Florida for over 30 years, and I've been in all the big hurricanes. And again, they always talk about floods. So I don't want to feel like I was a bit remiss, but I was traveling, and I was out of state I was the last plane back into my area the day of the hurricane. And so normally we were prepared, but I would have not possibility of flooding. So people have time. Our state is extremely good with our hurricane warnings, evacuations. We have plenty of warnings to get out. So let me say that first, that our state was prepared. I had been traveling, so I was a little lazy that day, and I let my guard down. But the flash flood part was, something I had not experienced. It went from, I don't know, 6 feet from my pool, fishing alligators in my backyard, to in 20 minutes in my house, in my garage, about 4 to 6 inches of water in 20 minutes time. And in another 20 minutes time, it was over the wheel wells of my car and still coming. So you have to pay attention to the tides. When the tide, the storm was long past when the tide switched. And when the tide switched, it was all over with but the shouting. So this whole area was just done under. And so and it's a different type of beast, water. It gets in anything and everything, and it's salt water. So it's wrecked everything.
So what that is the victim of that, you're direct victim of the hurricanes. But let me ask you a question. Now you have a family members, or maybe somebody else is sick, and during this time they have to evacuate. But if they don't, that's really a tough situation for them. Those people who refuse to evacuate from the warnings, right?
I agree. There's tons of warnings. There's tons of time to get out, to get to special shelters, to go to an area of the state that might be lesser possibly going to be affected. But I will tell you that even in the worst of the worst, and I've been in the worst of every storm. I have images of the blue dot, on your GPS on my house for the last so many storms. And I will say that to say that as soon as it passes, our state, and I'm not like running for office or anything, but they're They're on it. So if you need care or you need help, I mean, they really have they deploy massive teams of electricity, the electric guys, medical guys. Our teams are ready to come in to help really quickly. If you're down and out, it won't be for long.
That's with experience. A lot of yeah, for Florida is the epicenter of hurricanes. So what are the emergencies? The nurses, they need to go to work. So how do the hospital systems and all those things, while during this process, how do they get the nurses to come down to the hospital? Commuting to the hospital is a big challenge from their homes. How do that happen?
Well, they usually do. I can speak for this system here, and there's other systems around the country. They when you get hired, you choose team A or team B. So one team's going to come in and they'll get requisitions to start billeting before the storm, and then team B relieves them and they come in after the storm. So they'll come in when the team thinks it's safe with command at the hospital in conjunction with command in our city and our state and our national information. And so they allow us a safe time to get in, and then you're not leaving until they give a safe go to get out, and then they get replaced.
So the team B has to be coming. If they can't make it up, what happens in that case?
That's a tricky business because they're contracted to come in and relieve. You got to imagine the people that are there, they left their family, they left their homes. I mean, they can bring stuff, by the way. They can bring some members. Some people even have some areas where pets can come. But in general, they've left their home, they've left their families. They have no idea what to expect. That's what's happened. I mean, they lose their car, they lose their house, and they want to get out of there. They've been in there for, 3 days straight. And so when the relief does not come, that's a bad deal. So, I mean, sometimes it's you're fired. You don't show up, you're fired. And they might not be able to help it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that communication is the key. If your leaders know that you are leaving, there's a difference between staying at home and or evacuating the state. So if you're team B and you have to communicate with your leaders, if your leadership knows that you've left state, then we're going to be thinking, the traffic, can they get back in? What's happened? And all of that's taken into account. But the bottom line is, you really need to get there if at all possible. It's supporting your team in a way that you just have to do if at all possible.
Hats off to the nurses. It is like it's not easy. That what they do is a really amazing work. So, what are the typical emergencies that you face during this kind of crisis? Flooding during the flood. What are the emergencies come to either emergency room, or sometimes you have to attend to those emergencies? What are the typical emergencies come during these disaster times?
All the standard stuff that causes high stress. I mean, it's like Christmas is the number one worst day for heart attacks. The day after I think it's New Year's is the second one, or the day after Christmas. I don't know. Anything that causes heightened emotional stress. And you got to understand that the buildup to, should I stay? Should I go? Should I stay? Should I go? Do I have enough water? Do I have enough electricity? Am I staying and risking my family's life, or, trying to make, as a parent, should I keep my kids here? So the stress alone brings on all the stress related response that physiologically that the body might respond. So a lot of cardiac stuff, respiratory stuff, mental health stuff. And then of course, after it's heat injury, it's straining, it's chainsaws, it's, bee attacks, fire ant attacks, anaphylaxis. I mean, you name it. It's a mixed basket upset.
So let us. You're a cardiac nurse. You have worked in the American Heart Association in that area. So a lot of times, the one of the things is that instead of waiting for going to the transporting patients to the emergency room, providing at home the care, the defibrillation, the heart jump start for them, or CPR training. How much how much useful you think the CPR training from all the family members and the people around you?
Well, I don't think we talk about this enough. I think it's a random statistic that people in the industry throw out there a lot. But 80%, and some numbers are as high as 90 up to 90% of cardiac arrests happen at home. And so there's all kinds of talk out there about getting them in the parks and getting them in the soccer fields, and that's great. We need them there because exertion tends to cause, events as well. But to your point, what are we doing as a world? If you have a heart, you qualify.
Yeah.
For training and equipment that's suitable for our civilian population, for you, for your sister, for your cousin, for your brother and your mother. What are we doing to be prepared at home? The average response time, and it's different around the world based on where you're located, it's 8 to 9 minutes for an ambulance to get to your living room. That's long past the gold standard.
But during the disaster times or during the big snowstorm, it's not, we had in the north, there is a snowstorm in Washington, D.C. The ambulances even could not able to, it was a tough time.
At a pandemic, why don't you? At a pandemic and see, not only did we have delayed transport times, but then they had to don, before they could even come in. So the bottom line is there really needs to be a giant cultural shift into the home. Our family members need to take this very seriously. It doesn't have to be a big class. It doesn't have to be a whole 9 yards. It can be hands-only CPR and how to use an AED. And I implore all of the AED companies to really get right with their marketing and presentation of a product that's made for where the event is happening at home, which means people need to be able to afford it. They need to have access to it, and they need to have training for it.
Susan, when I was, 80s and 90s, I used to see the defibrillators so big, like a gel or something. It used to be big, thick. This cash card is like a huge refrigerator size. So, is there any advances there now? There's a much easier to tell us a little bit about the advancements that is gone in the jumpstart area.
Yeah. So, I do not endorse any company. I'm very agnostic that way. I love them all. The best AED is the one used, bottom line. But I will tell you that there is a company out there right now that it is the first defibrillator. I hope I get this right. I think I could that has received FDA approval in like a million years. And so it's a brand new company. They are, I don't know if I should say it or not, but anyway, Avive. And they have, it's smaller, it's GPS, it's hooked into 911. They light up, if you register to have it do so, it'll light up if there's a
How big is the how big is that?
It's smart. It's neat. That's that one. But then there's one that's even smaller. There's one that's the size of a cell phone.
Huh.
The size of a cell phone. It's a single use, crack and use. So it's really made for the home market. So I'm impressed with whoever they are, whatever their names are, in the fact that they're addressing where the problem is. And so we need to make these technology. We have so much technology and everyone wants to sell the big shiny package to the big shiny account. But if 80% of our population needs it at home, I think that's a pretty big account.
Yeah, that's a big account. And then if it's a portable one-time use, that's an excellent idea. Just to use that.
It.
Yeah, it's a great, that is a lot of times people get confused about the, including me, sometimes they get confusion about heart attack and then cardiac arrest. There's a lot of confusion there. So tell us a little bit the difference between these two. I always ask you about that because still people need to understand that difference.
Yeah, and you're so right. It's out there. People are always confused on that. I mean, so the 10-second version is, if you're having a heart attack, you've got a clog in the road, right? So one of the pipes feeding your heart has got a big log in the road. So there's a blockage, like this were my ring. If these were the vessels that feed your heart, and your heart's going lub dub, lub dub, lub dub, the vessels feeding the heart have to get goody in and garbage out to keep this muscle alive and well. So if you're having a heart attack, something has come along and stuck right here, and everything past my ring is not feeding the heart that it's intended to. So it's not getting goody in and garbage out. That starts to hurt and ache and cause those different symptoms in women than in men. That hurts. If we don't do anything about it, it could lead to a cardiac arrest. Arrest means electrical problem. Instead of lub dub, lub dub, lub dub, you get like a wooga 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 wooga. time's up. So one is a clog in the pipes, preventing the heart from getting fed so it could do its work, causes a lot of discomfort. And if not stopped in time, it could lead to cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest is walking down the street, minding your own business, and then the electrical problem goes bad and you've got 2 to 6 minutes to figure it out, because that wugga, 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 the heart's only going to hold its electricity, because this takes up a lot of energy. You know, what goes up in emergency medicine will go down. So we need to get the electricity on there and try to slap some sense into that crazy rhythm so it lub-dubs again. But we really only have those first 2 to 6 minutes to make that happen. So one, we've got a bit more time, as long as people don't wait, because that's what people do. Also the people at home, right? So they might start out a heart attack, and then for a couple of days, I didn't sleep good, my shoulder hurts, or when I've got, my GERD, or, and they mess around for too long. And the next thing you know, so also part of the training for the 80% that happen at home is really helping them recognize the problem, calling for help, and act. What does that look like? So, I mean, that's something that I do in one of my RescueRN programs. I mean, I have CodePRep community, because it doesn't matter where you are. Cardiac arrest doesn't care. So it's the same. My training is whether you're in the living room, the soccer field, or, in the ICU, or, the cath lab. Doesn't matter. The first few minutes, well, cath lab's a little bit special because they're awesome. It's critical care. And they know it's going to happen in there. So that wasn't a good example, but pretty much anywhere patients are seen.
There is and also there is a lot of advances going on in the resuscitation side, right? Like people get heart attack, and then even after 12 minutes or 2 hours, sometimes they can bring it back after 2 hours in some medical side. But there is a lot of advances going on in this area, right?
Wait, and you want to know who's kicking what and taking names? It's emergency medicine. Pre-hospital medicine is rocking resuscitation like nowhere else in the world. They do have collaborative work in a lot of the research in hospital. Canada is doing some great stuff. Seattle, King County, Seattle, rock stars. I mean, these are the teams who take this research so seriously, and they go 1 to 10 steps further, and they actually put it into action. So in a healthcare system, we are so shackled with bringing in new research. We're like 10 years behind the new research, right? Because, for whatever reasons. But in pre-hospital, they're taking off the shackles and they're giving it a shot. And they're making huge leaps and bounds in resuscitation science and saving lives. And most importantly, it's the score. We're looking at a score, a brain score, when they leave our hospital. We want them 1s and 2s, which means they're intact and they're going to go home and have a life. So getting people to the ICU is cool, but getting them home is way cooler.
Yeah, I can, that is the one thing I think, we have a different understanding about that. I want the insurance companies and policymakers to do these kind of things and do, a lot more aggressive way doing the emergency responses. That's going to be the future of the game. But Susan, that I'm going to present the topic on the very interesting, and actually you're involved a little bit about the contrast agency. Recently, you're working on the contrast agency side. So it's going to be the package that I'm going to talk about. It is a very new kind of thing. I'm going to let me bring that thing to the table. Yeah. So we are watching on the side. If you can see in the bottom, and I'm going to bring you in the side better, baby, that we are. Yeah. Okay. That's a better. So I'm going to present a topic. That's a Susan Davis, my favorite guest. She's always bubbly and really explains everything much more easier way than you can imagine. We need a lot of education and prevention and cardiac prevention. We need Avengers like her. That's definitely we need. And then congratulations on her. She won the Pulse Point Award. Actually, I want to talk about that when I come back. She won the recently award for that education, dedication to training the nurses. So we'll talk about when we come back. But let me talk about a little bit of a new phenomena of the cancer avenger. Quantum physics and the medicine, they went a parallel for a long time. There is nothing. Quantum physics is the science of small particles. smaller small particles. It has nothing to do with the medicine. They never crossed paths between them. Quantum physics went on our way. I'm a physicist, so study the quantum physics. We never thought that anything to do with the medicine. Okay, that was a long held view for a long time. Then recently, on the recent phenomena, that is, quantum technologies are changing. It is jumping the quantum behavior, very strange behavior, counterintuitive ideas of the quantum physics coming into the picture, and we are using in the quantum technologies, or we are using the benefit to do the great technologies, and then equipment and treatment and diagnosis. Sorry about that. Diagnosis and treatment, both sides, we are providing these quantum technologies is coming seeping into the field of medicine. That is what I'm going to talk about a little bit. So, Susan, you can jump in anytime. Quantum technologies are basically quantum. Is when you talk about quantum, means is a particle, small particles, is electrons, protons. I'm talking about very very smallest particle on the planet, in the universe. These are the particles have three things. They have a mass, they have a charge. Electron charge. Electron has a mass. That it's a very light. It cannot 10 to the power of minus 31 or something. It's so small, the weight of that, but it is still, nevertheless, it has a mass. It is a charge. It is a negatively charged.
Negative charge.
The electrons are negatively charged. That's where the defibrillator comes in the picture. The current goes through and then accumulate and then deliver that one. Actually, the electron movement is the creation of the current. But there is a third property that is not as straightforward as the top two, mass and charge. It is a spin, quantum spin. Quantum spin is a very strange. It's a counterintuitive idea of this spin. It behaves very different way. So that is spin. I'm going to explain to you a little bit more about the spin in a minute. But that is a very different than what you're thinking spin. It's a very something similar to thinking plus something more. That's how I'm going to talk about that. Superposition. The quantum physics, quantum particles they exhibit three properties. Superposition means they are in the multiple places at the same time. A particle is in multiple places, here, there, everywhere, same time. That is a very strange, counterintuitive idea. We are made up of those particles, but we are not here in multiple places. But particles, they do. They are in multiple places at the same time. Quantum entanglement. Entanglement like a twin sisters. You take the two particles coming from the same source. You separate them billion miles away. They influence each other. One, you put the spin down, the other becomes spin up. Other is spin down, spin up. They influence each other without any communication. There's no known communication between them, but they influence each other. That's still a mystery for us. Quantum entanglement is a mystery in the quantum physics. Quantum tunneling. This is like somebody, I'm going through a wall. Can I go through a wall? No, impossible, without breaking it. But electrons can do that. Sometimes what they do is very interesting way they do. They borrow the energy from the future. It's a grandson or grandchild. It's not even born yet. They borrow the energy and they go through the tunneling. That's called quantum tunneling. That's a phenomena. Is a very counterintuitive ideas of the quantum physics there. How they are affecting in the medicine. Contrast agents, new contrast agents are coming in. The Susan works on the contrast agents. We give a contrast agent to see follow the first pass. Or if thallium, for example, is one of the contrast agents they gave. The injection. It's a follow how that in a temporal in the time period, how it affects in the first pass. They call that's different things. They look at the timely fashion what is affecting. 3D imaging is a big problem because the MRIs and all those things, 3D reconstruction they do. It's not an actual 3D imaging. The reason was You cannot 3D imaging is all the two-dimensional, but the way they do that is very interesting. With the new quantum technologies, they do particles go there and create a real 3D imaging. It's not a reconstruction, it's a 3D imaging real time. In the future, with the quantum technologies, single cell diagnostics and treatment. You can see a single cell acting up funny or going through a cancerous kind of a transition. You can catch them at that time. You can diagnose it and treatment. You can do that. This is a new phenomenon. It's coming up. It is really changing the world. Quantum technologies are changing the world. Medicine is moving the medicine forward. So how does it? Everybody knows electricity, how it works. If you put a light bulb there and then electricity goes through a battery there, a negatively charged electrons, actually what is flowing? The electrons are flowing around. The current is opposite, so the electrons are flowing. That causes the electricity. The bulb is light up. The negatively charged electrons moving in the circuit causes the electricity. So electrons and electricity has a very strong relationship in that sense. But there is electricity has a very strange relationship with the magnetism. Whenever there is electricity goes, the perpendicularly magnetic system, magnetic properties come in the picture. Exactly perpendicular. The right thumb rule. It's like magnetism and electricity are like a old couple. They cannot be separated. They're just together. They're part and parcel of the life. So electromagnetic force, electricity and magnetism they are same, one and the same. They never leave each other. So that is the electricity and magnetism has the very strong connection between them. So electronics created a lot of gadgets for us. That cell phones, computers. Sorry about that. The huge number of things that created the electricity that you see experience every day, right? I don't have to, but there is one area that you don't know that is very strange. Electricity has a strange relationship with the spin. The spin, like sisters, sisters rivalry. That electricity and the spin have this sisters kind of rivalry there. Like Serena Williams and Venus Williams, they're sisters, but they compete each other. So that kind of a strange relationship between the electricity and spin. I tell you what, the relationship is a quantum spin. You need to excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. I'm still getting out of the code. So the history of the spin, there is a museum, not that I'm going to visit this museum, Chico, California. It's not that far from here. It's outside of Oakland, in the north of Oakland, Chico, the Museum of Yo-Yo Museum. There's a yo-yo spin museum there. You should visit there. The spin, you can create with the spin everything electrical gadget you can create through spin. I'm trying to repeat that again. Anything that you can create with electricity, you can create with a hand spin. My father gave me a watch. This watch, if you see your cell phone, it gives you time, right? My father gave the watch. This watch, particularly you need them in the disaster times. The electricity is gone. Particularly if you live in Montana or if, Florida is very well equipped. But in certain areas, because of disaster, there is nothing there. Electricity is gone. Everything is gone. Water is gone. Austin had an ice storm. They could not even get anything. They could not even charge the phones. So what do you do? How do you tell the time? You can replace that one with a spin. All the wheels, they move with a spin, mechanical spin. You don't need batteries. You don't need electricity. So whatever the time, you can tell through the spinning the wheels, you can tell the time.
Romana, turn your camera back on.
Oh, sorry.
You're making me hang out here by myself.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. Yeah, so that's a spin of the. So you can do everything with electricity. You can do the spin, manual spin. So there's another one that you see, bicycle. My father, I used to go in a bicycle. My father is a village doctor in a small village in India. So I used to go to the see patients, that you see in the nighttime. How do you see? So there is no electricity in our village. So it's called, we used to use a dynamo. That in the middle, you see that dynamo, it moves. That is a dynamo, it charges inside the magnetism and it creates a light there. Very good light, actually. I remember that very well. So during the disasters like Florida, you don't need electricity. You can survive without electricity by using these kind of things. As long as you know how to ride a bike. Susan, do you know how to ride a bike?
I know how to ride a bike. I do a lot of miles on my bike. I love my
See,
bike.
next time you should use the dynamo there.
I
So that
will.
actually it helps you. So,
I
so it
will.
is a really fascinating technology through spin. It's spinning, that creating electricity, and then it is showing the light is bulb. So even the odometers, the Susan has a truck now. So maybe the Ford ones, they had the odometer is actually moving spins. Lot of these are each one you see there in the right side is a spin. Small, big wheel, small wheel, all the different wheels move those numbers. So that's why you know how many mileage that is in the truck, the old timers. So you can replace the Tesla, this one, with the odometers and the spin. So electricity and spin has this combination. You can entirely build the computer through the spinning wheels. It's a very strange. Entire computer you can build through spin. You can pull through the string, then computer can work. So you can spin, you can create a spin through. The spin has this power. We don't know how the spin has the power that. So electron is a particle, has a both charge and it has a spin. It has a negatively charged particle and it is a spin. It is a very strange, that I was talking about a spin. But the spin it has is a very strange. It is up, is up and down same time. It is a clockwise and anti-clockwise same time. It's not beyond our understanding.
So is that wave?
It's not a wave. It is a spinning. It's a spinning, actual spinning with the axis. But we don't. That is a very counterintuitive idea of understanding. How can you spin both ways same time? That's what it does.
So a particle could be a particle or a wave. I think at the right.
Particle or wave. Yeah. This is
What you're describing is not the wave portion of it. It's just when
particle
it is a particle, it's still moving
it's a particle wave.
all
It's
different directions.
a particle. Yeah.
Okay.
So the spin is only up and down. Doesn't have the spin has an up or down.
Okay.
So but it's both same time. That's a very, nevertheless it has a spin. So what I was telling you, all these behind the previous examples I'm giving you, if there is a spin, you can build a machine. What machine you can build through spin? Electron spin. It's a ghostly kind of it's a very quantum phenomena, right? Quantum elusive, spin is elusive, very strange. The spin up and spin down same time, clockwise and anti-clockwise. So nevertheless it has a spin. When you have a spin, you can build a machine. That is a machine. You can build it through spin, quantum spin. It is called magnetic particle imaging. A elusive spin in the quantum physics. You can build a huge equipment. Tell you this, what does magnetic particle imaging do? It's called a new field called spintronics. It's evolved through this process. So through spin, we can build a, sorry about that. So these are robots. What do you create? A super paramagnetic iron oxide nanoparticles. These are nanoparticles. You train them to be robots, army of robots. You use a very sorry about surface engineering, very sophisticated surface engineering. You can use it to nanoparticles. You put the either drug, you can put the microbubble. She's talking about something like a microbubble. You can do that. These are the contrast agents. You can put the lipid on the top of it. You can do very sophisticated surface engineering. You can do, and then you can administer the contrast agent with the administer to the patient. What they do, these are trained robots. What they do is they go to a particular receptor. Every cancer cell has a particular receptors, particular type of cancer has a receptors. It goes to that receptor and locks it up, lock and key mechanism. All these nano robots swarm the cancer cells. Every cancer cell is formed by these nanoparticles, these robots. Then you can use a. So what do? Then you take a magnetic MPI machine, magnetic particle imaging machine, move the magnet back and forth. You need to be a little bit of a patient with me a little bit today. Magnetic particle imaging, you move this magnetism, what it does, all of them, these are paramagnetic particles, so they say present. They straighten up. North Pole and South Pole, they become magnetized. Like the kids in the high school, they say present. When they do that, keep on doing that back and forth, it releases energy, because that eventually it releases energy. Actually, you can create an image. First of all, these nanoparticles lighten up. It's called quantum dots. Lighten up, give you extraordinary images, three-dimensional images. You cannot even find in MRI. You cannot find in CT scan. You can find through my magnetic particle imaging the hidden side of the behind the scenes. There's a lot of tissue noise comes out of the MRI and all those CT scans. This you can eliminate all of them, because it doesn't take care. It doesn't respond to the tissue signals. Nanoparticles are only response that MPI responds to the nanoparticles and gives a clear image. But not only it does a clear image, what it does is it can shoot and fry. You can by moving the magnetic field, you can create a hyperthermia, fry the cell itself. You can create enough heat that you can damage the DNA inside, so the cancer affected cell can die. It is coming. It's like almost asteroid. And I was playing when I was a kid. I used to play Commodores. A lot of people don't know about it, but Commodores, we used to play the asteroid shooting. That's exactly like that. Almost. It's going to be that easy. So the resolution of the challenges of the MRI CT scan, the temporal and spatial resolution is out of this world. Glioblastoma, this is a cancer for the brain. You can see that much more clear. The MPI can not only that, the problem with a lot of these brain cancers and tumors is to reach them, and you can damage the good cells. So the targeted hyperthermia is you can create and really target that particular part, magnetic particle imaging, or you can use a contrast brain. You can use the microbubbles and send out some of the medicines there, the nanoparticles, particularly paramagnetic particles, and destroy that cancer. It's coming up. So we are there's a lot of companies are working on it right here in California. In fact, Stephen Connolly, UC Berkeley, is a professor. Brooker Company is working on this one. And then, Magnetic Insight, Patrick Goodwell is from Oakland right here. They're working on this kind of a new research, a groundbreaking research. They're doing that. I want to bring unsung heroes of those people who are working on this one. So a simple game that we play that can inspire, imagine, innovate. Actually, you can buy on the Amazon. You can buy the Spintronics game. You can create electricity, whatever the electrical gadgets you create. You can do that through Spin. They sell it. So you put them together. So people when they do what is that called? Right sided. What do you call her, Susan? The yo-yo game, yo-yo spin, yo-yo, that game that she's doing it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, the regular yo-yo?
Yeah, these are the
With the string
spin.
and like old school, like a yo-yo, down and up.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that spin has a lot of. When you think about the spin, it can open up a lot of new technologies. Spin, we think that we do play with the spin, but we really pay attention to it. It has a whole new field of science is there. That is one of the things that we can inspire the kids. Spin, when you playing all these games, it is a lot of great things behind it. Thank you for watching. Let me bring
Yeah, well, so I mean, ultimately, I think the distinction here, I mean, besides, I have a million questions which we can get into on another day. I mean, any contraindications to the little nanobots carrying the the magnetic material that we can target right to the area. But this thing goes one step further. So if you got the magnetic material delivered right to where you want it, and then the magnets on the outside, hunting this location, so it's far more than imaging. It's we
correct.
came, we saw, and we conquered. So I mean, it's able to laser zap, or laser is probably the wrong word. Zap through your thermia
Yeah, they
example.
may be using lasers. Actually, you're on the right path. Actually, yeah, they may be.
So it's imaging with the ability to go ahead while they're there and in that space. So I there's a million implications of how cool this is. That's really
But
neat.
the same equipment can do both the diagnosis and treatment same time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's huge. That's not another appointment, and
Yeah.
that's not another dose. Oh, I mean, it might be down the line, but anytime we, as inject anything, we have the the potential for an adverse event goes up. And so to be able to get a twofer, find and destroy, seek and destroy, that's really neat. Great technology.
So, Susan, the reason is I talk about all these things is that I think we don't have the experience of quantum physics in the medicine. A lot of times, quantum physics is like somewhere in the field of somewhere the woo world, but actually it is a direct effect on the
Well,
medicine. It is coming to our field. We a lot of doctors and nurses need to be familiar with these kind of concepts. That's what
I
I'm
think they're hearing about it more and more. I mean, unless you're under a rock or under a coconut somewhere, then you're hearing about quantum physics more and more. You're hearing about quantum computing, so
saying.
that's becoming a bit more trendy. And so the concepts of quantum have always been, out there, if you will, but it's very much part of the fabric of our being to understand the physics behind the capabilities of these huge potential sources of energy. Look what you're working on. I mean, that's just amazing. So very, very, and it's coming a lot quicker than most people maybe even can digest, but like it or not, here we go.
So let us talk about you a little bit. The Pulse Point award, you got it. Let's tell me about that little bit about the award. How did you?
Okay, so that was a super cool competition. It was not like a one-step deal. It was several steps. So that was a very ingenious program by my colleagues at Pulse Point Path. They created, there was multiple steps. There was a pitch video. There were questions. There were submissions. they have a 12 points of what it means to be in business, to survive and thrive in business. And so the experience of the application process and the competition alone was very good for an entrepreneur. So, putting on my RescueRN hat, the submission and steps and competition were meant to stretch you to see where you are in your business and where could you potentially go. And then to compare myself to others kind of in the, same stage as me. And, am I in it to win it? And yeah, I was. So I came in hot and I won. And I'm very appreciative.
Congratulations. You
They had
deserve
a lot of great feedback.
well-deserved honor for you. I tell you, I know that's well-deserved.
Thank you.
There's another conference coming up in Tampa. Tell a little bit about nurses that attending.
Oh, this is going to be a really cool one. I mean, of course, it's right up the street for me, so I couldn't resist. And anytime a bunch of nurses get together with the intention of coming together to support one another, to support our industry, to discuss in a very cool forum the solutions that we all come up with. So, Dr. Farah, she's putting it on. She's an amazing doctor of nursing practice. She's got an emergency room background. She's been in business for a long time for herself, as well as still working with nurses from, just coming out of school and helping them, move on and transition into practice and intrapreneurial work she does with others. So the long and the short of it is it's a really cool event on International Women's Day.
Oh,
okay. Pretty cool. So International Women's Day, we're going to be in Tampa at the beautiful, great venue at the museum of, I think it's the Children's Museum. I'm probably going to get that wrong. It's one of the amazing ones down by the water. So cool venue, a bunch of nurses coming together to talk about, what's hot and what's not. How can we support one another? And, making money moves in the entrepreneurial world, bringing our solutions that, might seem, kind of not in academia so much and not in healthcare so much, but those in the middle who are really willing to jump in and stand up beside and next to one another and talk about our solutions as something we're not kidding. And we're on International Women's Day. I couldn't resist.
Yeah. I lived in Tampa for a while. The Luz, the Wesley Chapel and the Luz, that area, you don't know, probably suburb of Tampa. It's a great honor. I think nurses are very, I think they're being recognized by a lot of people, even India and other countries now. They're paying attention to nurses. I think
they better be. Someone's going to take care of them.
Yeah. So I think, I was talking with somebody from India. They said that a lot of these nurse providers are doing a lot more work in the rural areas in India. They're called Anganwadi workers. These are the workers, they deliver babies and midwives kind of thing. They're trained in midwives. Without them, actually, India is a very difficult to provide care for the rural areas, large population, large area, to provide that kind of care without a large number of support workers in the healthcare. Impossible. They need to be. Still, we have a long way to go from the cardiac side. I think that they need to be trained quite a bit. India requires them. People like you probably do a good job in this kind of. They train those people. So Susan, you are always wonderful to talk. You're delightful. You're my best friend. We hang it out. We don't. That one thing is you're written in my script, Susan Davis. So you can come anytime. You can come anytime.
To me, there's nothing cooler than having a bestie that's a physicist. I mean, give me a break. That's just, I love your topics. I love learning. I love quantum. I've read about it in and out my whole life. So I learn from you every single time. I love that you promote myself and nursing. And to your point, nurse practitioners and all level nurses handle the majority of the care in our world. So, India, yes, they're delivering babies and amongst them, amongst everything else. And frankly, they're doing it here in the United States too. So there really is not a country on our planet that could exist without nursing. And so we are the bomb.com. And we're having a voice and we have solutions, and we are at the table now. So it's a lot of fun, speaking about it, bringing our knowledge to the table. And thanks to you, I get to talk about my specialty every time I come on. And more importantly, I get to hang out with you.
Yeah, thank you. Susan Davis is that's where you are the true representative for all those things happening. Thank you so much, Susan, to joining. If you hang around 1 minute, I will close this one, and then thank you all. Good night, all of you.
Good night.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it.